Just go right in?
Just go right in, man.
Okay. The rain came in like a pale horse, galloping. Says it's like waiting for the paint on the walls to turn wet again. Like someone saw a problem on the horizon and said, that's worth it. Smoker's tan, or on removal. A mirror hangs to the left as I walk in the front door. A decade of cigar smoke caked to its face. And out of curiosity, I try to rub my thumb through the years, but it just sticks. So I lift my identity off of it, trace its trail in the pallor, just enough to see a faint luster of light through my fingerprint. And I look at the similarly stained beer steins lining the length of the mantel beside it in the den, made bedroom, made day and night lounge, a room with everything he needed except company, since Mom went to the home. And he's in his recliner, feet propped up like we've been begging him to. And he's digging through the ashes of a metal tray like a tobacco archaeologist, digging for the remnants of cigars to unwind into his pipe. And I tell him I'm going to clean that mirror. And he's laughing like a crumbling mountain. Wishes I wouldn't try, but also wishes me luck. And I spray the cleanest, whitest rag I can find, dig into the thick smoke, using so much strength I'm afraid I'll break the glass. Watch as it only smudges the stains, distorting the haze of yellowed dust into a whirlwind of cross-hatched chaos. The oldest layers not even paying attention to the commotion. And I tell Dad to look, and he's laughing. Says it's like waiting for the paint on the walls to turn wet again. That I'd have better luck breaking it and throwing the pieces in the dishwasher. And I'm chuckling, but the work I'm putting in is making reality a bit lighter in the reflection. And I hold the stuck stiff with tar rag up in front of him and say, look what's coming off. And he laughs and says, well, do it to me next. Take off a few years. And I smile and keep pressing into the tree rings of carbon and dirt around the inside of the frame. And I can almost see myself now, can nearly divine my outline and color contrast. And I say, I'm gonna get this clean and measure how much you're smoking with it. And he says, I don't smoke anymore. And we both laugh, and I put all my elbow grease into degreasing the looking glass. And it's almost clean now. And I hold it up to face him, and he says, you did it all wrong. I look too old in it now. Put some of the grime back on. And I laugh, but I know he'll do it himself. I know that time and smoke fill a lonely room better than anything other than finality. And I know how much of all three I'm leaving behind. As I breathe deep, as the door frame will allow me, walk out and grab my chest for the pack of history in my pocket. Gonna do what I remember about my hometown after the flood of 97. Just keep it super quick. I read this poem to a gentleman the other night in the middle of a reading. Like we sat aside and it was during a break and I read this poem to him and he walks away, the show starts, and in the middle of the show he comes and he sets a 6-pack of what I'm about to talk about in front of me. What I remember about my hometown after the flood of 97 is the thousands of cans of Budweiser emergency water that were brought in and left when the river last lapped over the edge of the floodwalls. The truckloads of it we all brought home like that day's hunt was fruitful. The lies we told our friends about how big our family's haul was is the way every home had a collector stash that dwindled over time until you couldn't tell if it was the water or any other can time stripped of its truth. The way there were no labels we had to stare at as we sipped on someone's plan for our safety is the dull reflection of the silver cans. Because tragedy used to not need luster. Is us 10-year-olds laughing at having a Budweiser in daylight. Is how none of us knew how long they were safe to drink. Is the way the water tasted so good, like they didn't have to clean it, like it didn't have to return home from anywhere. Like someone saw a problem on the horizon and said, that's worth it. I remember my hometown feeling worth it. I didn't get misty-eyed. He really said it was surreal. I'm going to do one from the book, for me and Sue Flatt's book, I Love You, Punk. It's available through Fading Neon Press. I'm going to do one through it. It's If I Look Closely Enough. There was a hallway lined with paintings of light, and you walk down it, a march of mirror, the glow becoming more soft and more large with each lake skip. Me following behind, a camera blushing. And when you turn around, like a good departure, I only see petals and water and patience, the flora prism shining through the surface like homecoming tears. And I, wanting to palm this tea to my lips, ask if it's a gift. And the history of angels replies, yes. A murmuration of grief and love, but really it's just the weather. The rain came in like a pale horse, galloping and noticeable from as far as fear can see. People arrived at the riverbank to celebrate my little brother's life, but were trapped in their cars by the deluge, the sideways cloud flood lapping at their windshield shores. And the storm hit so fast, not even the Ohio River had time to get upset at the interruption. Didn't even flinch for the first minute. And my sister and father make the best of it. Say things like, it sure is like Andy, and it's what he would have wanted. And while they're right, while staring at the tempest rolling in over us, the river and the morning celebrants, wave after wave on our heads, I shake my head and think, this ain't it. This is just a starter pistol. And all of our tears are masters of espionage amongst the rain, as we rally and wrangle the guests to a backup plan. And everybody drives towards shelter as me and my dad stand by the riverbanks, the thunder and lightning telling us to smile at Andy's sense of humor as we turn around, smiling at Andy's sense of humor, and moon the Kentucky hillside, asses bared to the choppy waters above and below, to the fury of the valley's sky funnel. And as we redress and walk to our cars, the wind starts to die down, a sudden streak of blue and sun slicing across the state line. And we laugh at daylight and defiance of daylight. And we laughed at the secret word we said while exposed to the elements, the one that only Andy knows the meaning of. We laugh knowing our ritual started the ritual of remembering things. And so we start by remembering what we just did and why, and not much else. It doesn't matter how you say no. Learning. If I ask a machine to navigate home, it will bring me to my residence. If you ask me to navigate home, that'll be the last thing I think of. Go home as a command. It's how commands interact with who is being commanded. Shut up, says the educated. Who do you think you're talking to, says the stakeholders. And it's a shame. It's a crime. You must fix this, says the housed and safe and sheltered. It is indeed a crime now, says the U.S. Supreme Court. All these voices and opinions, and it is a matter of who is being told to desist. Vacate and relocate, or handshake, where the guns and the other hands are implied. The sentence, there is nothing you or I can do, is a command to stop thinking, to stop yearning, to to stop caring, to stop listening, watching, hoping, stop dreaming, stop having nightmares, stop searching for certainty, stop. It's a matter of who is being commanded. There is nothing you or I can do is a war crime, is attrition, is wolf in reform's clothing, is fear with its tongue in our mouths, unlearning. Go home as an insult. Go home as a taunt. Go home as a gun. Go home as a law, which is just a gun. Go home as hope, which is the future. Go home as good advice. Go home as good advice with bad intent. What home? Asked the children. Ignorance. A poem will build a house one day.